Have you ever wondered how many hidden talents are out there, just waiting for the right moment to shine? Often, the fear of failure is the biggest obstacle to achieving success. What if I told you that, among so many stories, there is one that will surprise you? A boy of just 10 years old, shy and insecure, but with a passion so great that not even he imagined the potential he had. He is not a superstar born on a football field, but overcoming and the desire to win speak louder than any obstacle. The truth is that, behind every victory, there is a personal twist, an internal drama that, when overcome, turns into pure inspiration. And in this story, altruism and friendship show that, sometimes, the greatest talent isn't simply trying. Want to find out how he overcame his own barriers? If this story has already piqued your curiosity, then you are in the right place. Subscribe to the channel right now and join a community that believes in the power of overcoming and effort. Don't miss any more inspiration to overcome your own challenges. Sam, a boy of just 10 years old, looks at the TV with his eyes shining as Lionel Messi scores another spectacular goal. His dreams are filled with images of a future where he also shines on the field, where the crowd applauds his undeniable talent. But inside, the drama is different. Sam feels the weight of his own insecurity. Overcoming it seems distant, almost impossible. Even though he is so young, he already carries a huge barrier, the fear of failure. Every time he thinks about kicking a ball, his heart races, his hands sweat, and a voice inside him whispers that he will never be good enough. He loves football, but the fear of not being like Messi paralyzes him. It's not just the sport. It's the fear of failure that eats away at your confidence. It's the drama of a boy who struggles to find his place in the world, amidst dreams that are too big for his small stature. But is all this fear really justified? Sam's room is practically a football shrine. Shirts, posters, and of course, a ball that is rarely used. He sees himself playing in the big leagues, but he always wonders, will he ever be able to actually take the field? Overcoming seems like such a distant word. The most ironic thing is that, despite loving seeing Messi on the field, he never had the courage to try something more serious with the sport. Your friends play at school, score goals, laugh, and have fun. Sam just watches, always with the excuse ready that his foot hurts or that he needs to do something more important. He prefers to watch from afar, as if convinced that there, on the bench of life, is the only place where he truly belongs. But behind this fear, Sam hides a deep knowledge of the game. He knows everything about the main players, the tactics, the strategies. You know how Messi dribbles, how Ronaldo shoots, how Neymar moves. He has everything in his head, but not in his legs. For him, it is safer to remain a spectator than to take risks on the field. The drama plays out in your mind, where every possible mistake feels like a catastrophe, a turn of events too painful to face. The irony is that he knows a lot more about football than most of his friends, but fear prevents him from showing it on the pitch. Kevin, his best friend, is the exact opposite. He plays with passion, without fear of making mistakes. He is the typical boy who believes that life is made of trials and errors, and that only through overcoming can one learn. He sees potential in Sam, and although Sam himself doesn't see it, Kevin firmly believes that his friend can be amazing, as long as he can overcome the fear that holds him back. Kevin understands that Sam's problem is not a lack of ability, but the mental barrier that prevents him from trying. And like any selfless friend, he decides to help him, even though Sam doesn't yet know he needs this help. Sam's conflict is not just with the ball, but with himself. He idolizes Messi, but at the same time, he believes he can never even come close to that level. This thought eats away at you from the inside, turning every opportunity to play into a moment of tension and anxiety. Sam's drama is the typical internal struggle between wanting and fearing. The fear of failing is so great that he prefers not to try. Life in football, for him, is something that is always a step away, but that he never has the courage to take. This internal battle between the dream and fear is what defines Sam. Despite all the knowledge he has about the game, the turnaround that Sam so desperately needs hasn't happened yet. It's as if he's waiting for something or someone to push him forward. Someone to show that overcoming only comes with trying. And that person seems to be closer than he imagines. Kevin, who has never given up on anything in his life, is about to take an action that will change Sam's relationship with football forever. Life has these surprises, these unexpected twists and turns that appear when you least expect them. Kevin, with his contagious energy and passion for the game, begins to devise a plan to get Sam out of this situation. He knows Sam has talent, and he's determined to show it to the world, even if Sam still doesn't believe in himself. And of course, Kevin knows that humility is an essential virtue for any great player. He sees in Sam the humility of someone who has not yet discovered his own worth, but who, when he does, will be unstoppable. Kevin is about to turn the key in Sam's life, and then something starts to change. Slowly, Sam begins to realize that perhaps the question isn't whether or not he's as good as Messi, but rather whether he's willing to try, to take the risk of failing, and to get up again. It's a lesson he didn't learn from books or from watching games, but rather by watching Kevin and others who, despite making mistakes, continue playing. This humility of understanding that mistakes are part of the path is what perhaps leads Sam to a turning point in his life. As Sam watches Kevin having fun with the ball, he begins to understand that what really matters is not the end result, but the love for the game. Inspired by Kevin's simplicity and altruism, who wants nothing more than to see his friend happy, Sam begins to consider the possibility of, perhaps, one day, taking the field. The fear is still there, but now something else is emerging within him, the will to overcome. But will he be able to take that first step? Sam knows everything about football. He could spend hours talking about game tactics, analyzing how Messi moves without the ball, or how Ronaldo manages to find the right space to finish. Football is more than a passion for him. It's a study. He knows the fundamentals, the secrets of the best plays, and could easily explain every technical detail of the sport to anyone. However, when the time comes to put what you know into practice, fear dominates you. The inspiration he feels when watching his idols turns into a barrier when he finds himself face to face with a ball on the field. Sam's plight is not a lack of knowledge, but the terror of failing when he tries. He watches his classmates playing during school breaks. They look so free, so at ease, laughing and having fun with football. For Sam, however, the game has another meaning. Every wrong touch, every off-target kick seems to be a reflection of his insecurity. He fears being judged, fears that his failures will be seen by everyone. The fear of making mistakes is so great that it prevents you from even trying. And so, Sam remains on the sidelines, a spectator to his own passion. He feels the change within himself, the desire to overcome this barrier. But he still doesn't know how to take that step. Kevin, however, begins to see this differently. Kevin, in his altruistic way, doesn't understand how someone who knows so much about football is so afraid of playing. For him, the game is simple. You get on the field, do the best you can and have fun. He always tells Sam that the most important thing is to try, that everyone makes mistakes, even the greatest players in the world. But Kevin's words don't seem to sink into Sam's head. The internal drama he experiences is greater than any external motivation. Sam constantly compares himself to great players like Messi and Ronaldo, and this comparison is paralyzing. If I can't be like them, why try? It's the thought that haunts him. But Kevin doesn't give up on his friend. One day, Kevin decides to take action. During a casual conversation about the latest Champions League action, he looks Sam straight in the eye and challenges him. If you know so much about football, why don't you try playing? What do you have to lose? The question remains in the air, hovering like a provocation. Sam knows Kevin is right. He has nothing to lose but his own fears. But still, the idea of going on the field, of making mistakes in front of everyone, terrifies him. It's a turning point in their friendship because, for the first time, Kevin is challenging Sam to step out of his comfort zone. Sam hesitates. The idea of playing football attracts him as much as it terrifies him. He wants to prove to himself that he is capable, but the fear of failing still speaks louder. What if I make a mistake? What if I don't succeed? He thinks about all the times he watched his heroes play. They make it look so easy, so natural. But in truth, he knows that even the greatest players have had to overcome their own barriers. Kevin senses Sam's conflict and, with his usual humility, proposes a simple solution. Let's play together. Just the two of us. No pressure, no audience. Let's start slowly. Sam can't refuse such a generous offer, and so they start training together, away from prying eyes. At first, Sam is still insecure. His movements are tentative, but Kevin is there every step of the way, encouraging, correcting, and, most of all, showing him that error is part of the process. Little by little, Sam loosens up. Every time he makes a mistake, Kevin reminds him that even Messi has failed once. The inspiration to continue comes from friendship, from the selfless support of someone who believes in his potential more than he does himself. Sam begins to realize that perhaps the most important thing is not to be perfect, but to allow himself to try. Kevin makes a point of showing Sam that football is more than technique and skill. It is also about passion, overcoming, and, above all, humility. Even the best players in the world started somewhere. Sam begins to understand that the game is not about being the best, but about loving what you do, about doing your best, even when the odds seem to be against you. With each training session, Sam gets a little closer to overcoming his fear. He realizes that the knowledge he has about football is a valuable tool, but that it needs to be combined with practice to really make a difference. Sam's confidence grows slowly but steadily. He still has his moments of doubt. He still hesitates before shooting the ball, but Kevin is always there, ready to remind him that the most important thing is to keep trying. They start playing more often, and Sam, to his surprise, notices that he is getting better. He begins to see that overcoming is not something that happens overnight, but rather a continuous process. The humility to recognize your weaknesses and the courage to face them is what makes the difference. Sam still doesn't feel ready to play with the other kids at school, but he no longer fears the idea like he used to. He understands that fear is a natural part of the process, but that he cannot let it win. Kevin, ever patient and selfless, continues to encourage him, reminding him that football, like life, is a series of trials and errors. Sam begins to see the football field not as a place of fear, but as an opportunity for growth. The turnaround is happening slowly, and he knows it's just the beginning. The turning point comes when Kevin decides it's time for Sam to face his greatest fear. "Today is the day," Kevin says with a confident smile. Sam feels his heart racing, his hands sweat. He knew this moment would come, but he didn't imagine it would happen so quickly. Kevin, as always, is there, ready to guide you. The field feels bigger than ever, and every step toward the ball weighs as if he's carrying the world on his shoulders. Overcoming seems so far away, but Kevin believes Sam is ready. "All you have to do is try," he says calmly. But Sam knows there's more at stake than just a shot. It's the internal battle he needs to win. With a smooth touch, Kevin passes the ball to Sam. The moment of truth has arrived. Sam closes his eyes for a second and takes a deep breath. When your feet touch the ball, something changes. He feels the texture of the grass beneath his feet, the muffled sound of the ball rolling, and for a brief moment he forgets his fear. Kevin runs alongside, encouraging with every step, reminding him that at the end of the day, it's all just a game. The upheaval begins to take shape within Sam. The drama he feared so much begins to dissolve as he realizes that he can control the ball after all. It's imperfect, yes, but it's a start. With each new dribble, Sam surprises himself. He never thought he would make it this far. Kevin, who has always believed in his friend's potential, continues to stand by, offering advice and tips on how to improve. "Remember, it's all about control," says Kevin, teaching Sam how to maintain rhythm and cadence on his feet. Sam begins to understand that the game is not about perfection, but about the journey. The inspiration he felt from watching his idols is now starting to turn into action. Kevin constantly reminds him that fear is natural, but that true power comes from facing it. The football field, which once seemed a place of fear and anxiety, is now beginning to transform into a space of possibility. Sam realizes that the key to overcoming is taking small steps, one dribble at a time, one kick at a time. He still feels that nervousness, but instead of paralyzing him, he uses it as fuel. Kevin continues to run alongside him, like a tireless mentor. "Come on, you're doing good. Keep it up," Kevin says, as Sam starts to gain confidence. Sam's humility in recognizing that he needs to improve is what makes him even more determined. The sun begins to set, and the field is bathed in golden light. Sam no longer thinks about what others will say or what could go wrong. He is present, focused, absorbing every second. Kevin makes a point of remembering that football is much more than technique and skill. It's about the love of the game, the passion that pushes you forward, even when fear tries to hold you back. Sam finally begins to understand this lesson. He realizes that fear is actually an essential part of the journey. Overcoming, after all, is not about never being afraid, but about continuing despite it. As they play, Sam scores his first goal. It's a moment of pure euphoria. He can't believe what just happened. Kevin smiles and runs to hug his friend, shouting in celebration. The drama, the tension, everything seems to disappear for a few seconds. Sam feels invincible, like he's finally broken a barrier that's been holding him back. But he knows there is still a lot to learn. The journey is just beginning, and Kevin reminds him of this with humility and kindness. "You did a great job today," Kevin says, "but we still have a long way to go." Sam is still at the beginning of his journey. He knows there will be more challenges, more fears to face, but now he has something he didn't have before: the confidence that he can overcome these obstacles. Kevin, always selfless, makes himself available to continue helping Sam improve. They make a pact. They will continue training together every day until the day of the tryouts. Sam isn't sure if he's ready for the big day, but he knows that with Kevin by his side, he has a chance. He finally understands that overcoming is a process, and that each mistake is just another lesson to be learned. Sam realizes that, just like football, life is made up of small advances. It's not about being perfect from the start, but about taking the first step. He feels the weight of fear lessen with each training session. With each moment he takes a risk and tries something new. The inspiration he always sought from his idols is now beginning to be born within him. Sam finally sees that the only real limit is the one he imposes on himself. And with Kevin by his side, he feels like he can break down any barrier. The journey to the tryouts continues, but Sam already knows that, regardless of the result, he has already won the biggest battle, the battle against fear. Kevin reminds him that humility is one of the most important qualities of a great player. Even when you're feeling on top of the world, it's essential to remember that there is always room for improvement. Sam now understands this. He knows the road is still long, but he is prepared to move forward. With each training session, he feels stronger, more confident. The turning point in Sam's life didn't happen all at once, but in small moments, like that goal he just scored. And Kevin, always by his side, reminds him that they're just getting started. As Sam struggles to overcome his fear of football, another challenge arises in his life: school. Just like on the football field, he faces an invisible enemy: the fear of failure. Every time the teacher asks him to solve a problem on the board, Sam feels his legs feel heavy, as if they were stuck to the floor. The internal drama is the same: the fear of making mistakes, of being judged. Mathematics becomes a new battlefield. The most curious thing is that, just like in football, Sam understands the material. He knows what he needs to do, but when the moment comes to do it, his mind freezes, panic takes over, and he feels helpless. Kevin, always attentive and altruistic, notices that Sam is experiencing the same type of anxiety at school. He knows Sam's fear goes beyond the football field and offers his help. "Let's train for math class like we do in football," suggests Kevin. Sam, initially reluctant, accepts. Kevin makes Sam do some simple problems in a notebook, and to Sam's surprise, he succeeds. "See, it's not that hard," Kevin says, with his usual encouraging smile. Sam realizes that, deep down, what he needs is practice, whether in football or in his studies. But school still seems like a scary place. The next day, in math class, Sam finds himself in the same situation as always, sitting in the back row, trying to avoid the teacher's eyes. But this time, something is different. Kevin's words echo in his mind: "You can do it, just try." When the teacher calls his name to solve a problem on the board, he hesitates but stands up. Each step towards the painting feels like a kilometer. The room is silent. His colleagues watch, and Sam feels his heart race. It's like being back on the football field, with all eyes on him. But this time, he's willing to try. With chalk in hand, Sam stares at the board, and for a moment, his mind goes blank. The tension grows. He hears the whispers of his colleagues, the sound of his own quickened breaths. But then he remembers what Kevin always says. The important thing is to try. Failure is part of it. With that in mind, he takes a deep breath and writes the answer on the board. To your surprise, it is correct. The relief is immediate, but the feeling of overcoming is even greater. Just like in football, he realizes that the first step is the hardest, but once you take it, everything starts to make sense. The drama in the classroom is almost as intense as it is on the football field. Sam realizes that the fear of failure is present in all areas of his life. He begins to understand that whether at school or in sport, the key to winning is the same: humility to recognize his weaknesses and courage to face them. Kevin, always by his side, reminds him that everyone makes mistakes, and that learning comes precisely from those mistakes. No one is born knowing everything, says Kevin. Sam begins to internalize this lesson and sees that humility is essential for any type of growth, whether intellectual or sporting. With each new problem solved, Sam feels more confident. He realizes that the anxiety he felt getting up to solve problems in front of everyone was the same kind of nervousness he felt on the football field. And just like in football, the solution is practice and perseverance. Sam understands that overcoming is an ongoing process, and that constant practice, both at school and on the field, is the only way to overcome your fears. Drama is always present, but now he has the tools to deal with it. Kevin, with his patience and selflessness, continues to guide him on this path. The most interesting thing is that Sam begins to see a connection between football and school. The same discipline he needs to kick the ball into the goal is the one he needs to solve a math equation. Both challenges require focus, practice, and the ability to handle mistakes. Sam realizes that, just like in football, he can improve in his studies if he keeps trying, if he keeps practicing. Kevin reinforces this idea, reminding him that overcoming does not happen overnight, but is the result of small advances, one day at a time. Over time, Sam begins to feel more comfortable, both at school and on the football field. He still has his moments of doubt, but now he knows he's not alone. Kevin is always nearby, ready to offer advice or a word of encouragement. Their friendship grows stronger with each new challenge they overcome. Sam begins to realize that, just like football, learning at school is an ongoing process of trial and error. Kevin's humility to recognize his failures and his altruism to help him are the pillars of this journey. The drama that once consumed Sam now seems less. He still feels the nervousness, but now he knows how to deal with it. The turning point in his life began when he decided to try, whether on the football field or in the classroom. And with each new challenge overcome, he feels more confident and more prepared to face whatever lies ahead. Kevin, like a true friend, continues to encourage him, reminding him that the most important thing is not the end result, but the effort he puts into each attempt. Life, after all, is like football, full of challenges, but also full of opportunities to grow and learn. The news of the football tryouts hit Sam like an earthquake. He knew that, at some point, he would have to face this challenge, but he never imagined it would be so soon. The exams are next week, Kevin says excitedly. Sam's heart sinks. The idea of going onto the field, surrounded by more experienced kids, terrifies him. The drama unfolding in your mind is almost paralyzing. He imagines himself stumbling, missing passes, and the shame he would feel prevents him from even considering the possibility of participating. However, Kevin, with his characteristic altruism, is determined to change that perspective. "You can do it, Sam. You're more prepared than you know," he says with a confident smile. Kevin starts to make a plan. They would train every day until the day of the tests. What to Sam seems like an impossible task, Kevin sees it as an opportunity to show his friend how much he has improved. "We just need practice, no rush," Kevin insists, as the drama in Sam's mind continues to build. Each workout brings new challenges, and Sam feels the weight of expectation growing. But with each touch of the ball, he also starts to notice small improvements. Overcoming is there, in sight, but it seems like he needs one last push to really believe he is capable. Kevin, on the other hand, has no doubts. Sam will take the tests. The week leading up to the tryouts is a true whirlwind of emotions. Sam finds himself torn between the desire to try and the fear of failing. Every time he thinks about giving up, Kevin comes up with a new idea, a new incentive. Remember the first goal you scored? It was incredible. Kevin remembers, trying to rekindle in Sam the confidence he didn't know he had. But the drama continues. What if I make a mistake? What if I get hurt? Sam asks. Kevin, always humble and calm, responds. You can make mistakes, yes. Everyone makes mistakes. But the important thing is that you will try. That's already a victory. Kevin's words start to sink in, and Sam realizes that maybe fear isn't the end, but the beginning of something bigger. On tryouts day, the field seems bigger than ever. The tension is palpable. Sam sees the other kids, all warming up, laughing, and getting ready. He, on the other hand, is quiet, caught up in his own thoughts. Kevin, by his side, pats him on the back and says, Today is the day, Sam. No matter what happens, you're going to do your best. Sam takes a deep breath and, for the first time, feels like maybe he really can. Overcoming is not in scoring the perfect goal, but in being there, on the field, facing your fears head on. The drama that once paralyzed him now seems lessened as he takes his first steps on the field. As the game begins, Sam is surprised. His feet move almost automatically. His body responds to the ball's movements as if he had trained for it his entire life. Kevin runs alongside him, giving instructions, but always with a word of encouragement. You're doing great. Keep it up, he shouts. With each pass, Sam's confidence grows. The fear is still there, but he now understands that it is part of the process. The real challenge is to keep going, even when fear tries to stop you. Sam realizes that overcoming is happening there, in real time, and that every moment on the field is a personal victory. Halfway through the game, Sam has the opportunity to score a goal. His heart races, and for a second he hesitates. What if I make a mistake? He thinks, but before doubt can overwhelm him, he remembers Kevin's words. The important thing is to try. With that in mind, he kicks. The ball goes straight into the corner of the net. He did. Sam looks at Kevin, who is grinning from ear to ear. The feeling of accomplishment washes over him. But he knows this is just the beginning. The true test is yet to come. But in that moment, he proved to himself that he can do it. The trials continue, and Sam realizes that although fear never completely disappears, it doesn't have to be paralyzing. Each new challenge is an opportunity for growth. Kevin, always by your side, continues to offer unconditional support. Did you see what you did? It was incredible, Kevin exclaims, without hiding the pride he feels for his friend. Sam, still trying to process everything, just smiles. He knows that without Kevin by his side, he might never have gotten this far. Kevin's humility, his willingness to help without asking for anything in return, is what gave Sam the courage to continue. At the end of tryouts, Sam is exhausted but happy. He doesn't know if he will be chosen for the team, but that doesn't matter so much anymore. The upheaval that happened within him is much greater than any approval. He overcame his biggest fear, and now, regardless of the outcome, he knows he can face anything life throws at him. Kevin approaches and says, It doesn't matter if you make the team or not, Sam. What matters is that you did what you had to do, and I'm very proud of you. Sam, with tears in his eyes, knows that this moment will forever be etched in his memory. The coach calls the boys to announce who passed the tryouts. Sam is nervous, but this time the nervousness has a different flavor. He knows that whatever the outcome, he has already won. Kevin, by her side, holds her hand and says, You've done everything you can. Now you just have to wait. The suspense is almost unbearable, but Sam takes a deep breath and waits. And finally, the coach calls your name. Sam passed. The feeling of accomplishment is indescribable. He looks at Kevin, who hugs him proudly. The journey has just begun, but the first great victory has already been achieved. The sun shines brightly on the first day of official training. Sam is nervous, but this time, The nervousness is accompanied by a new feeling: confidence. He still doesn't fully believe that he passed tryouts, that he's now part of the team. The football field, which once seemed a place of dread, now represents an opportunity for growth, a new chapter in his life. Kevin is by his side, as always, encouraging, reminding him that the most important thing is not the destination, but the journey. The resilience Sam has experienced over the past few weeks has transformed him, and he knows the real challenge is just beginning. As they warm up for the first game of the season, Sam finds himself reflecting on how much has changed. The boy who once trembled at the thought of taking the field is now there, ready to play. The drama that once paralyzed him gave way to determination. He knows it won't be easy, that there will be moments of difficulty, but now he has the tools to face these challenges. The humility that Kevin taught him throughout the journey is always present. Sam understands that no matter how many goals he scores or how many games he wins, true growth comes from overcoming each day, from keeping trying even when things get tough. The game begins, and Sam, once again, feels those butterflies in his stomach. But this time, he embraces that feeling. He knows that nerves are just part of the process, something all great players face. Kevin, running alongside him on the field, continues to encourage him. "You're doing great, Sam. Keep it up." Kevin's confidence is infectious, and Sam finds himself playing in ways he never thought possible. Every pass, every dribble, brings him closer to who he always wanted to be. The overcoming is happening there, in real time, and Sam finally begins to see football as something more than just a game. It's a metaphor for life. In the middle of the game, Sam has a new chance to score a goal. The ball comes toward you, and for a moment, time seems to slow down. The internal drama resurfaces, that voice that always told him he wasn't good enough. But now Sam has a new answer. He shoots, and the ball finds the net. The stadium erupts in applause, and Sam, for a moment, feels like he's floating. He looks at Kevin, who is vibrating next to him, and realizes that this moment is the result of weeks of dedication, of overcoming, of altruism. The humility of recognizing that he still has a lot to learn is always present, but now he knows he can get wherever he wants. After the game, Sam is approached by the coach, who praises him for his performance. "You have a lot of potential, Sam. Keep it up and you'll go far," says the coach, with a smile. Sam, still a little in disbelief, just nods. He knows he still has a long way to go, but now he has something he didn't have before: the confidence that he can overcome any obstacle. Kevin, always by his side, reminds him that the important thing is to keep training, to keep challenging himself. The friendship between the two grew stronger with each new challenge, and Sam knows that, without Kevin, he might never have gotten this far. In the following days, Sam continues to train with dedication. He realizes that football, like life, is made up of ups and downs. There will be days when he plays well, and others when he makes mistakes, but what really matters is consistency, the desire to continue improving. Kevin, as always, is there to support him, offering advice and, most of all, his selfless friendship. Sam begins to understand that football is more than a game. It is a life lesson. With each training session, he feels more prepared for the challenges to come, both on the field and off it. Sam's journey doesn't end with joining the team. On the contrary, this is just the beginning. He knows that true overcoming is not in being part of a team, but in continuing to seek to be better every day. Kevin, always humble, reminds him that the most important thing is to love what you do. You don't have to be the best player in the world, Sam. You just have to be the best player you can be. These words echo in Sam's mind, who finally understands that true victory is not in the score, but in the effort and dedication he puts into each training session, in each game. The season finale approaches, and Sam is more confident than ever. He knows there is still a lot to learn, but now he sees football with different eyes. The inspiration he always sought from players like Messi now comes from within himself. He understands that true success is not measured by the number of goals, but by overcoming your own limits. Kevin, like a true friend, continues to be there for him, reminding him that at the end of the day, the most important thing is to keep trying. Sam's journey, which began with so much fear and anxiety, is now marked by growth and confidence. In the last game of the season, Sam has the chance to score the winning goal. The pressure is enormous, but he is calm. He knows that regardless of the outcome, he has already won his greatest battle, the battle against fear. He shoots, and the ball goes straight into the goal. The stadium explodes in applause, and Sam, smiling, knows that this moment is the result of weeks of hard work, dedication, overcoming. Kevin runs over to hug him, and Sam realizes that with the right support, anything is possible. The journey continues, and he is more prepared than ever for the challenges to come. Sam's journey teaches us much more than football techniques. She shows us that fear, internal drama, and uncertainty are part of life, but that overcoming comes to those who have the courage to try. Now, I ask you, how many times have you let fear stop you from moving forward? And if you could overcome your biggest challenges, what would you be doing now? Just like Sam, we all face moments of doubt, but the real turnaround only happens when we decide to act. It's time for you to take that first step too. What will be your next achievement? Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and continue learning how to face your fears and achieve success, whether on or off the field.